After studying this module, you shall be able to know about psychotherapy, learn about the types of psychotherapies, identify the qualities of a psychotherapist, and to analyze the difficulties in a psychotherapeutic relationship. So in history, the very first people to identify the mental illness as medical problem were the ancient Greeks. Even though the Greeks were not completely aware or correct about their understanding of treatment of the mental illness, they did understand the importance of empathy and encouragement. After the fall of Roman Empire, the Middle Ages moved back to their beliefs in the supernatural powers causing mental illness rather than medical causes. A very famous psychiatrist named Sigmund Freud developed psychoanalysis by the turn of the century. He was the first one who made profound contributions in the field of unconsciousness, infantile sexuality, or the stages of development, dream analysis, and 3 stages of mind. On the other hand, behavioral therapy was another type which was in its budding phase from behavioral psychology. Some basic principles of this type of theory were borrowed from animal psychology to treat emotional and behavioral problems. Over the years, through its evolutionary phase, the behavioral therapy has included behavioral observation, conditioning, reinforcement, and punishment as some of its principles. The emphasis of thoughts and feelings in the behavioral psychology has led to the new type of therapy named cognitive behavioral therapy, which has become a very major type of therapy in the treatment of psychological disorder. Another theorist named Carl Roger during 1940s came up with a new concept of empathy, unconditional positive regard, warmth, genuineness, acceptance by the therapist. Now we must understand what basically is psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, as the name suggests, is a process which focuses on helping to treat the difficulties faced by people suffering from mental disabilities or disorders. The task of psychotherapy is conducted by experienced psychotherapists, psychiatrists, or mental health providers. Psychotherapy helps mentally disabled patients to learn how to deal with their lives, make them capable to live in the society, respond to the challenging situations, and teach them healthy coping skills. There is a major difference between psychotherapy and counseling. The first and the most important difference is that psychotherapy deals with the patient with much serious problems than counseling does. The emotional depth in psychotherapy is much more than the counseling. Thus, a person suffering from a mental disorder cannot be taken to a counselor because he or she is less experienced and does not have the qualification to treat the patient. Another difference between the two is that theoretical foundation and historical origins differ to a large extent. There are various types of psychotherapies which have been used and have been found to be extremely effective in the treatment of several psychological disorders, which are as follows: behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, humanistic existential therapy, psychodynamic therapy, family therapy, group therapy, and interpersonal therapy. Now we'll discuss the types of psychotherapies one by one. So first one that we are going to discuss is psychoanalytical psychotherapy. The classical psychoanalysis was introduced by Sigmund Freud, who came up with a number of psychotherapeutic techniques including free association and hypnosis. But these techniques were outrun by some of the new techniques. Some very commonly used techniques are dream analysis, transference, and sometimes free association. According to Greenson, psychoanalysis is distinguished from all other therapies by the way it promotes the development of the transference reactions and how it attempts systematically to analyze transference phenomena. Transference means the transferring of the client's ideas, beliefs, feelings, and fantasies onto the therapist, whereas they belong to someone else in the client's life. Thus, transference, which was introduced by psychoanalysis, is a very important aspect of psychoanalytical psychotherapy. According to Greenson, counter-transference reactions have to be detected and restrained. These are reactions that the therapist presents to the client of his own fantasies or feelings of someone else in his life. Then next type we have is object relation psychotherapy. According to the objection relation theory, the relationship in the earliest years of child's life play a vital role. The most important relationship is the mother and child relationship. Melanie Klein was the one who introduced this theory. She claimed that her theory was an extension of Freud's classical psychoanalytical theory but different in many ways. In therapy, the therapist helps the client to replay the early life scenario and find out the root of the problem. With the help of projective identification, the therapist tries to gain the trust of the client and understand the issues he has with others around him. Projective identification is a psychic defense mechanism in which infants split off unacceptable part of themselves, project them onto another object, and finally introject them back into themselves in a changed or distorted form. By taking the object back into them, infants feel that they have become like that object. That is, they identify with that object. The next type of therapy we have is interpersonal psychotherapy, which was first formulated by Sullivan and then followed by Kessler. In this theory, interpersonal behavior is conceptualized along the dimensions of control and affiliation. The people who are mentally disabled or disturbed tend to have a rigid interpersonal relationship with everyone around them. They react in the same rigid manner with everyone, may it be their mother or a stranger. This pattern was called maladaptive transaction cycle by Kessler. In the treatment process of such people, the therapist first reacts in the same manner like the others do with the client, but after some time the therapist understands the ways of the client and reacts in a completely opposite manner, which will allow the client to experience what it is like to be treated differently. Thus, he will try to find alternatives to his rigid interpersonal behaviors. Next type of psychotherapy is cognitive psychotherapy, and it is simply based on the theory that whatever the person thinks determines what he will feel. In cognitive psychotherapy, the main task of the therapist is to help the client or patient correct their faulty, disorganized thought processes. By correcting these faulty thoughts, it is believed that the patient's emotional state and perception of everything around him improves. For example, in cases of depression, it has been seen that the patients have incorrect beliefs about the world around them and also about themselves. There are a number of thought errors a person experiences: personalization, dichotomous thinking, selective abstraction, and magnificent minimization. The therapist in cognitive therapy tries to make the client aware of the thought errors mentioned above and helps him to discover alternate ways of seeing the world and himself differently. When the client or patient learns to view things positively and correctly, his or her mood will automatically alleviate, leading to a better life. Next type of psychotherapy is humanistic or existential psychotherapy. Humanistic and existential are two different theories which were introduced by two different psychologists. These two theories were later combined to form one form of psychotherapy by Jim Blumenthal in 1978. He wrote about bringing these two models in form of psychotherapy in his book, which is Psychotherapy and Process. This therapy does not categorize the patient into right or wrong or into disabled or functional. Rather, this psychotherapy tries to come up with the potentials and the limitations of the patient and work on them. The basic concept of the humanistic theory, such as empathy and unconditional positive regard, are used in this therapy. On the other hand, giving life and existence a meaning is the basic concept of existential therapy. Now you must learn about psychotherapeutic relationship. A psychotherapeutic relationship refers to a relationship between the client or patient and the psychotherapist during the therapy. It is the responsibility of the therapist to see that the relationship is strong and is based on trust. The role of the client is also important to a large extent in a psychotherapeutic relationship. There are a lot of factors that affect the psychotherapeutic relationship at the very first meeting, which are good communication skills, empathy, understanding, maintaining the appropriate distance and boundaries, professional and ethical basis, and respect and consideration for the client's problems. The psychotherapeutic relationship is a very formal and professional relationship with a lot of limitations and ethical boundaries. Before a therapist begins with his sessions with the client, a contract is presented to the client, which consists of information related to the time limit of each session, cost of each session, information of a relative in case of emergencies, and some rules and conditions that the therapist may consider to be important in long run. Only when the client agrees with all these conditions, the therapy sessions are begun. There are a number of qualities which the therapist must possess in order to formulate a strong psychotherapeutic relationship. These qualities include empathy, unconditional positive regard, understanding and genuineness, non-judgmental attitude, listening skills, educational qualification, and open-mindedness. Now we must learn the qualities of a therapist for a successful psychotherapeutic relationship. There are a number of qualities of the therapist which have been mentioned above. These qualities will be explained in detail ahead. Empathy. The term empathy in its simplest sense means putting oneself into someone else's shoes. Empathy is not the same as sympathy. Empathetic understanding is the emotional and intellectual ability of the therapist to catch hold of the issues of the client's world and then talking or communicating about those issues to the client. Next quality of psychotherapist is unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers was the first one to introduce the term unconditional positive regard. The term unconditional was removed, making the concept more believable and strong. Rogers himself believed that the term unconditional was probably impossible. The term positive regard is based on the assumption that growth and change are more likely to occur the more the therapist is experiencing a warm, positive, acceptant attitude towards what is a client. The next characteristic is understanding and genuineness. According to Rogers, genuineness means that within a relationship he is freely and deeply himself with his actual experience accurately represented by his awareness of himself. In its simplest sense, genuineness means acting without using a mask. The task of the therapist here is to remove all the masks and roles aside and talk and communicate with the client as he is. The client must feel that he can open up in front of the therapist only when he sees the real person under the mask of the therapist. Next quality of a therapist is non-judgmental attitude. According to Beistek in 1953, non-judgmental attitude means that the therapist refrains from judging the guilt or innocence of the client. It does not mean that the therapist may not objectively judge the attitude, standards, or actions of the client. The client is heard when he is judged. He is not necessarily heard when his behavior is evaluated. Being non-judgmental with the client simply means that the therapist trusts and believes in the client. The therapist neither thinks that the client is wrong and nor does he think that the client is right. Another quality is listening skills. In its most basic sense, listening means sitting back and paying attention to what the client is saying. It means that the therapist is not interrupting the client and not directing his. Listening to the client may give him the feeling that therapist genuinely cares about him. Listening also creates a feeling of empathy and non-dominance in the client's heart. Another quality is educational qualification, which is a prerequisite to form any psychotherapeutic relationship. This is a very important and vital quality of the therapist which must be taken extremely seriously. This quality consists of the certification of the therapist and the license provided to him from the respective authority. Another aspect of this quality is the experience of the therapist. It also includes the client's awareness of all the types of psychotherapies and the techniques used by them. The client must be careful before choosing his therapist. One very important quality of a psychotherapist is open-mindedness. This quality consists of a flexibility of therapist's ideas and views and beliefs. In case the client coming to a therapist presents different values, insights, feelings and perceptions than those of the therapist, it is the task of the therapist to keep an open mind and take in all the information the client is providing in a non-judgmental manner. Now we must discuss the principles in a psychotherapeutic relationship. The psychotherapeutic relationship has been seen as a vital part of any psychotherapy session. Thus, the relational approach of the psychotherapy helps to study the psychotherapeutic relationship or the alliance, the difficulties faced by the therapist as well as the client, and how one overcomes these difficulties. This approach began in late 1980s at the University of Toronto, Clark's Institute of Psychiatry. This approach presents a number of steps or principles of meta-communication in a therapeutic alliance. Principle 1. Focus on the here and now. The focus of the therapeutic relation should always be in the present or the here and now. This helps the patient to build a process of mindfulness. The here and now principle is an extract from the Gestalt theory, which also helps the client to develop a sense of awareness to their action as well as their inner feelings. Principle 2. Focus on the concrete and specific. Focus on the concrete and specific is important because it helps in forming a sense of mindfulness. The focus on the concrete rules out the possibility of the patient focusing on general, leading them to make their own discoveries rather than going along with what the therapist says. Principle 3. Establish a sense of collaboration and we-ness. The main focus here must be that the patient should be a part of whatever dilemma he is going through, rather than just providing information to the therapist. During the therapeutic process, the patient tends to get lonely and feels left out. The therapist tries to empathize and shows positive regard to make him feel accepted. Thus, it is extremely important for the therapist and the patient to work together rather than the therapist leading the patient. Principle 4. Emphasize one's own subjectivity. Emphasizing the subjectivity of the therapist's observation also helps to establish a more egalitarian relationship. When the emphasis is placed on the empathizing of the subjectivity of therapist, it helps the patient to choose whether or not to choose to go along with the therapist or to stick with one's own perspective. This principle shows the non-judgmental aspect of the psychotherapeutic relationship. This principle also points out the non-directional factor in this relationship. Principle 5. Gog intuitive sense of relatedness. This is an important principle because it is a little tricky. In a psychotherapeutic relationship, it is important to gain the trust of the patient and to form rapport with him. It is also important to make the patient comfortable and at ease in order to help him open up. But on the other hand, too much closeness can lead to ethical issues. Thus, this principle tries to explain the importance of closeness and a sense of relatedness with the client. It helps in understanding the client's interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships. Principle 6. Expect resolution attempts to lead to more ruptures and expect to revisit ruptures. It is important for the therapist to understand that no matter how well he is communicating or dealing with his client, there may be ruptures and obstacles throughout the psychotherapeutic process. Therefore, if the therapist is rigid in his own ways, then it is impossible for him to treat his clients. There may be many aspects of the client which will arise again and again, even when the therapist feels that he has completely treated the area. Issues in a psychotherapeutic relationship. There are a number of issues and problems faced by the therapist in a psychotherapeutic relationship, including the problems related to the client's disorder. Some of the issues have been mentioned below. Countertransference is one of the major issues faced by the therapeutic relationship. As we all know that the transference occurs when the client or the patient transfers his feelings onto the therapist, which he used to feel for someone significant in his own life. On the other hand, counter-transference occurs when the patient is transferring certain feelings and the therapist is counter-transferring his. This is an issue in the psychotherapeutic process because it creates a block between the betterment of the patient. The therapist and the client get stuck in the particular position if not taken care of. Denial is another problem faced by the psychotherapeutic relationship. A patient who moves from therapist to therapist is one with the strongest feelings of denial. The therapist's task is to identify the patient's problem of denial. Some clients or patients never accept the fact that they are suffering from disorder or that they need treatment. The insight of such patients is completely lost and shut out. Thus, denial can cause friction between the client and the therapist, leading to the end altogether sometimes. Sexual contact between the therapist and the client is one of the major ethical issues as well as a factor that can ruin the psychotherapeutic relationship. Not just the sexual contact, but any type of contact outside psychotherapeutic session is considered to be wrong. Aggression is another factor that leads to a problem in the relationship between the client and the therapist. The aggressive client may abuse or even hit the therapist. The therapist at that point may feel abused and misused due to the actions of the client. The aggression of the client may be harmful to himself as well as the therapist. Therefore, sometimes the therapist is able to handle the client's anger, but sometimes the psychotherapeutic process ends at that very point. Silence is another factor that affects a psychotherapeutic relation. Some patients are so closed and reserved that they do not speak for several sessions. There are some who come to the session and go to sleep. These actions of the patient show great significance in the psychoanalytical therapy. Silence of the patient is therefore a very significant as well as a major drawback in the psychotherapeutic relationship. Another issue in the psychotherapeutic relationship is the issue of confidentiality. The therapist needs to keep careful record of all the information given by the patient. If the therapist in any way leaks information about the patient to anyone, including his family also, then the relationship of psychotherapy is in jeopardy. The trust and confidence of the relationship is one of the important pillars of this or any relationship. Now we come to the summary of this chapter. Mental illness was considered to be a possession of dark spirits in the past. Psychotherapy was then introduced by the Greeks. Later, Sigmund Freud came up with psychoanalysis and Carl Rogers gave the concept of empathy and unconditional positive regard. Psychotherapy consists of a number of types. These types include behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, humanistic and existential therapy, psychodynamic therapy, family therapy, group therapy, interpersonal therapy, object relation therapy, and many more. A psychotherapeutic relationship is a relationship between the psychotherapist and the client during a psychotherapeutic process. This relationship consists of a number of steps and principles that help the therapist and the client throughout the process. The therapist must possess a number of qualities such as empathy, unconditional positive regard, listening skills, non-judgmental attitude, understanding and genuineness, open-mindedness, and educational qualification. Within a psychotherapeutic relationship, there come along several problems and issues. These issues may include denial, aggression, confidentiality, countertransference, silence, and sexual contact.